If you think of Ferrari, the first thing which gets into your mind is probably Formula 1 or maybe GT3, but surely not what I'm going to tell you. The biggest point why manufacturers get involved with motorsport is the publicity. Scuderia Ferrari, however, has a more traditional story to tell. The first car was the Ferrari 815 and raced back in the time where the track width was limited by crowds. Good old completely safe times. After World War II, the team mainly focused on Formula 1 and endurance racing. The greatest ever stories are probably Niki Lauda and the legendary 1966 Le Mans race against Ford. Ferrari established themselves in motorsport because of good performance, tradition and reliability. If you are a fan of road racing, then you saw the name of the Italian manufacturer on the podium at least once. And that's why it's so weird to see a luxury sports car getting all kinds of dirty away from the tarmac. And no, I don't mean just occasionally going off track, but really focusing on the gravel stuff here. The 70s of Formula 1 were a roller coaster of feelings for Scuderia. That's one more reason why they focused mainly on F1 since 73. But the first rally car came out in 1978, so how the fuck? I know this may hurt a bit, but Ferrari themselves weren't really involved in the rally car. But the man who did this had the blessing from Maranello, so I guess that counts. Giuliano Michelotti was famous for building Ferraris and other Italian manufactured street cars into bloody racing cars with great achievements in rally and endurance series. At the release of the Ferrari 308 GTB, the, you could say, tuner, Michelotto found the car perfect for racing on dirt as a Group 4 car.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
The crazy Italian man had everything he needed. Experience in building a rally car and the resources for it. And so began the long journey of two friends, and they all lived happily ever after. Well, kinda. The 1975 released 308 started out very competitive in 1978 and had some success after just 1 year at the Monza Rally. The main focus was on local national championships like Europe, France and of course Italy. The first driver who was winning a rally event with the legendary black horse at the front was Raffaele Pinto and the co-driver Claudio Penariol. Later on, the car won several national rally events, including Jean-Claude André at the Tour de France Automobile in 1981 and 1982, the complete Italian championship in 1982, and the most famous result, a second place at the Tour de Corse in the World Rally Championship. The cars were just slightly modified up to this point to fit the rulebook of Group 4 cars. This rapidly changed with the most legendary era of rally ever. The hybrid era. Oh, no, wait. Wait a second. Give me just a sec. The Group B era. But let's focus on the first rally car for now. The Ferrari 308 GTB looked mad but still elegant, which is a thing you won't see very often in rally sport. Michelotto put some extra bright headlights on the front of the car and adjusted the ride height. This resulted in faster stage times, especially in mud or snow, and an overall smoother feeling through the steering wheel. The rest of the car was pretty much the same, a 2.9 liter 4-stroke V8 motor with a bit more than a street car, between 270 and 290 horsepower and the same chassis. The only thing they had to do is to shorten the acceleration time, because with over 6.1 seconds the car just wouldn't be competitive. So Michelotto did everything possible to get the car ready for rallies, and well, he did it. 11 times. After the 308 GTB had national and international success, Ferrari, or more precise Michelotto, worked on a new car, a turbocharged Group B one. The reason for this would be that the Group 4 was getting less popular because of the Group B cars containing the Italian Lancia Rally 037. But this project was bigger than everything he ever did in rally, so he needed helping hands from Ferrari, many resources and a lot of time. Those things were connected with high expectations from Ferrari, so the car needed to be great. The work started in secrecy in 1982 and featured many changes to the overall performance, and the chassis got many modifications as well. The difference was surely the performance of the car, achieved by the new turbocharger. The internals were lighter and stronger than before, and because of a shorter exhaust and better fuel injection, the car had over 360 horsepower. Away from the motor, the front and rear got shortened, which led to a better handling of the car. The suspension system was revised and bodywork was made out of carbon fiber. The weight reduction was so efficient that they had to make it heavier, or it couldn't have started at a rally because of the few but decent regulations. If you take a look at the design of the car, the 308 GTM, which was the name of this bad boy, has some clear difference between the predecessor. Blocky headlights instead of sleepy eyes, a shorter chassis and a wing. There are the real homologations for each car on the web, and if you want to know a bit more about these, check out the links in my description. Now, moving on to the time this car actually raced in Group B. Oh yeah, totally forgot. The Ferrari never raced in an official WRC Group B event, and there are more reasons for that than you might think. One of them being the long time period needed to build this car. It was finished after 2 years in 1984 and would have had the best power to weight ratio of 1982. I think you see the problem here. Ferrari didn't go with the time, but instead they tried to build something old, outdated, just bad. The Audi at the time was dominating with Walter Röhrl behind the wheel, and the modern Quattro 4-wheel drive system didn't make it easier for other contenders. You might think now, Ferrari overestimated themselves. It was clear that they will never win something in their Group B car. And I have to say, you're right. Ferrari was just getting into the gravel stuff, but wasn't intended to win. For sure, it would have been awesome to stand on the top of the podium in the most legendary time of rallying, but the main goal was to beat the Italian contender, Lancia. At that time, Lancia was such a big deal for Italian motorsport, and Ferrari couldn't just sit there with their Formula 1 toys. The Ferrari 308 GTM was about the same level of performance as the Lancia Group B car, which had no chance against the Audi but was still very competitive. So competitive that Ferrari was never near to the start line of a WRC Group B event and sold every single GTM. But then, in 1984, Ferrari wanted to try the rally thing once more. Instead of taking a decade-old street car, they decided to release a completely new car, the Ferrari 288 GTO. With the Group B regulations saying that you mainly have to focus on the produced street car with minimal modifications and you need to produce at least 200 street legal versions, Ferrari was taking a big risk to fulfill those regulations. The car itself was very fast and seemed like a redesigned version of the 308 GTB. But under the hood, the car was quite similar to the GTM. After 2 years of production time, Ferrari sold 272 GTOs in total until 1986 and was ready to perform as a rally manufacturer. But to their misfortune, they couldn't. It's not like they didn't want to, but the Group B just didn't exist anymore. After a horrific accident of Henri Toivonen and Sergio Cresto at the Tour de Corse in 1986. So the 288 GTO never got into his rally clothes, and Ferrari sold most of the street cars. Though there are a few race versions out there, none of them ever raced officially, and they were simply sold. But the time wasn't for nothing. The experience put into the 308 GTM were used for the 288 GTO and later for the successor, which wasn't a rally car to be fair, but looked superb anyway. The well-known Ferrari F40, just tasty. Ferrari's achievements in high-level rallies were just a scratch of the performance of other famous manufacturers like Audi, Subaru and Lancia. Their time was short, maybe a bit too short for a traditional black horse which won dozens of Formula 1 titles and Le Mans races. So guys, this video was a pain in the twit. It took several days just to write the script and the editing wasn't easier. Tell me in the comments below what you think about the story and if you want to see more videos like this. See you next time.